This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
A very good morning to you all. We sit here and watch the gorgeous sunrise making its way up high in the sky over Djuma Private Game Reserve. And it's actually not too cold this morning. I mean, it's not warm, but it's definitely not too cold. It's rather beautiful here. And it won't just be Djuma that we're coming to you from today. We'll be coming to you live from many different locations all across South Africa with unique and wonderful things to show and share with you. So everyone, jump on the back of my safari vehicle, please. It's time for your live bumble through the bush. Aha, you made it, everyone. You're on the back of my vehicle. It's going to be bumpy, but welcome. It's an absolute pleasure to have you all here. And of course, where better to start the morning drive than quarantine? It's right next to our camp, but it is absolutely perfect for the beginning of a safari. My name is Lauren. I do have Impo on camera today, and we're just going to sit here for a few moments and enjoy the scene. And then we're going to make our way to Miss Tlalamba. She's actually not too far away. Tristan was with her yesterday, as you know, and we are going to go and see if she's still there. She does have a bamba, which is a kill, and hopefully it's not been stolen or fallen or anything like that, and she will still be in the same position. I'm very much excited to see Miss T, Princess T, as we call her here. And Tristan is going to bumble around and see what he can find. There's lots happening on Djuma right now, and all the surrounding reserves that we do have traverse rights to. Just look at that. So this moment is happening as you see it, because we're live, but we're also interactive. So please do talk to us. You're welcome to send in comments, questions, jokes, riddles, stories, whatever you wish. If we can't find any animals, then please do send in jokes, because, well, we start to punish ourselves, and it gets rather bleak. And how do you do that? Well, you use the hashtag WildEarth on Twitter, at FC on the YouTube chat, or you can head over to the Wild Earth website, register and submit your questions under the live safari page. Kids, if you are watching, which I hope you are, please do send in your questions via email. And the email address is kidsequestions@wildearth.tv. We want to hear from everybody. Just going to sit here for a little bit longer and let all of you enjoy this scene without my voice. Okay, so I'm going to slowly bumble towards Princess T now, see where she is, and we're going to send you guys across to Pinda to say good morning.
Good morning, everyone, and a nice sunny sunrise. Welcome to Pinda here in KwaZulu-Natal. We are also just sitting and enjoying the sunrise here. It's been an absolutely beautiful morning so far. Very nice temperature as well. It's not as cold as it's been the last couple of days, which has been quite a pleasure waking up to and getting going in. And yeah, what a beautiful sunrise. We've just parked off on this ridge now, got our cups of coffee and have been enjoying the sunrise. It's beautiful out here. My name's Devin. Behind the camera we've got Odie. and our plan for the morning is to go and look for some cheetah, I think. I think we're going to head in a northerly direction up the reserve, which will be quite cool. We don't often head there for wild earth, so I'm quite excited to do that. But we thought to start with, what a better way than with this view over we're looking over a valley here. You can see all that like wintry mist that's formed in the bottom of the dry rivers, the bottom of those drainage areas. And then if you go across to the right, that's actually the back of one of the lakes of Lake St. Lucia, called False Bay. So a very, very cool little story, and those what look like mountains in the background are actually sand dunes. So that's the sea just on either end of there. There are not many safari spaces that you can go into that are this close to the ocean. And it's a very productive and beautiful ocean as well. I dive, so I quite enjoy spending time down there in Tswalu Bay. But all that mist that's formed in the bottom of these little valleys is something that's only started happening in the last sort of month or so. Maybe 3 weeks, with the cooler temperatures in the morning. It's really, really stunning out here this morning, though, with all the bird calls and insect noises that are happening. Bit of a dawn chorus. We are gonna head off now in search of those cheetah, and we're gonna send you across to the weather so you can see what's happening on all the other spots this morning. But we'll be back with you shortly, hopefully with some signs of some cheetah.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to NB Ngala's Private Game Reserve, where this morning we are set out to try and find the white lines or the rest of the Birmingham Pride. And my name is Roel. Behind the camera, I have got Craig this morning with us. So they were here yesterday in the evening. We managed to find them, but the problem was they were close to the boundary road. So this morning, driving here just to make sure and double check if they have not crossed out, because anything could have happened during the night. So driving on the boundary road is just for me to find out if they have or have not crossed out of the reserve. Therefore, if they haven't crossed out, if we don't see tracks of them anywhere crossing out, and then what we'll do is we'll get back into the central parts and then try and see if we can find tracks around there, see if we can track them down. I wouldn't put it past them that they would turn around and come this way, but it's going to be interesting to see where they could have gone, what could have happened during the night. Because remember, those young male lions, they are still trying to be kicked out of the pride's territory, and they still keep coming back. So maybe when they hear the big males roar throughout the night, they might suddenly change direction. So we'll do that and then see if we'll be able to find any other animals along the way. Of course, see what else we can find throughout this morning. Haven't you asking if I expect them to be a lot active at this time? So yes, it is still early, it's still quite cool, so there is a very good chance, and I'm hoping that we get to see them while they're still on the move before they settle down for the warm afternoons. So when the temperature is still cool like this, they will still be active until the sun warms up, and then they find a place and then they settle down for the afternoon. So far, I was just double checking in the riverbed there. We haven't had or seen any tracks of these lions crossing out. So we'll send you guys over to Tswalu while we still look for these lions tracks and then see if we'll find them.
Good morning and welcome to Tswalu Kalahari. Another very beautiful morning here in the Kalahari. Just behind there we've got some gemsbok just trying to hide away from us. It was very interesting earlier when we stopped here. You could actually see the contrast of them against the grass, and that's what I was trying to show. But anyway, we hope they'll come out. My name is OBAKENG. Welcome very much. And behind the camera there, we've got BK doing a very wonderful job for us this morning. So what I'm intending to do this morning is head more in a westerly direction, an area of the reserve that we don't really cover much. So let's see what that will provide this morning. There it goes. Look at the contrast and how the colors just almost blend in, and that's what I was trying to show you earlier. I mean, it's almost in unison. If one had to look probably twice to see if it didn't move. So I'm gonna try and move a little bit, see if we can capture it again. But again, onto the dunes, if you can look into the silhouettes, again, look at that light and just the silhouettes of the trees. Angela, are these antelope only found in the Kalahari? That is a negative. That is a big no-no. You also do find them in places like Namibia, on the deserts there by the Namib Desert. You also find them there. They are an arid species, so they do very well in places that are very dry and have less rainfall. Here we go. There's more of them coming up here. Look at that contrast. Beautiful coloration. Look at the size of those horns also. Impressive. They are a little bit shy this morning. Like I said, this is an area of the reserve that we don't really cover much. Beard, what happened with the locust? Yesterday, around 10-ish, we heard word that they were still traveling east on one of the, on the other side of our property, heading just away from the Korana bag. So I would assume that today they could be just at the edge or at the boundary of our reserve, if not already exiting our reserve, going in an easterly direction. That was the last update yesterday, but I mean, they can change direction. If anything, if we hear of anything today, we'll update later. But that's the kind of general direction that they were taking from yesterday, going more east. Quite a epic happening or event to actually witness them fly through. I mean, at one stage when I was with them, it almost looked like you were under a sea and fish just going over you. But yeah, a very good experience. We're going to continue heading west. While we do that, I'm going to be sending you over to another very beautiful location in Africa.
When on safari, there's nothing better than an evening spent under the stars chatting around a fire, with the sounds of the wild all around you. If you sign up to be a Wild Earth Explorer, you can build your own memories by joining our guides for regular fireside chats. Subscription payments can be made by PayPal, credit card, and now bank transfer. Wild Earth Explorers, it's in your nature. Founded in 1973, the Endangered Wildlife Trust has consistently and effectively worked towards achieving our conservation legacy. Contribute to this legacy by visiting EWT's Get Wild eShop and purchase products with a purpose.
My name is Ross and I'm a field guide at and beyond Pinde Private Game Reserve. I love getting questions from guests on Wild Earth because I love sharing and learning information about nature with new people, and it also makes me feel like you're all joining me in real life. If you want to ask a question on Wild Earth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, go to our live safari page and submit your question below our live feed.
We have a baby pangolin, a baby pangolin. This is off the charts. This animal is about from your fingertips to your elbow. That's the total length of this animal. This is unreal. This is unreal. This is unreal. This is like now my 4th Christmas in a week. We should do this more often.
Tune into Wild Earth every single day. It's in your nature.
Delivering 6 hours of HD wildlife content live every day is no small feat. It's a massive team effort, and we all rely on one another. Cam Ops have a bit of work to do in the morning. Up nice and early, get all the checks out of the way, and make sure we're ready to go live. Helping others fall in love with nature brings meaning to what I do. It's also a lot of fun.
And here she is, Princess T. Oh, she didn't like that drongo. Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur. I'm not going to sing anymore for you. I did that back in the olden days. Oh, so lovely to see her. Because we know these cats so individually. You don't just want to see a leopard, you want to spend time catching up with them all. And she's obviously on the ground, she's not up the tree, but I'm hoping at some point in the morning, maybe when she wakes up a little bit, she's going to go up the tree. And leopards really are the most widespread member of the Panthera, the large felids. They occur throughout sub-Saharan Africa, India, southern Asia, and they're really highly adaptable in terms of their hunting techniques and their feeding. They really will eat whatever comes their way if they have to. Of course, they're going to have favorites, and of course, they're going to need to kill something substantial enough to endure them through the day. But they're very opportunistic, and this allows them to be highly adaptable. I mean, you will find them in tropical rainforests. You will find them in savannas, alpine mountains, even urban areas you will find. She's looking at us. You will find leopards in cities. Leopards have been seen in Johannesburg. Leopards have been seen in smaller towns and villages, even in India. We have a huge problem with leopards coming into the area where humans are, urban civilizations. But really, they sort of reach their highest densities in areas with river systems. That's where you'll find a high density of leopards, exactly like where we are right now. That's definitely what they prefer, but it does show you that they can really survive wherever there is sufficient cover and adequately sized prey. I mean, leopards will snack on small animals, scrub hares and mongoose and lizards, but they're not going to survive and thrive there. They'll survive, yes, but they won't thrive. So you're really going to find them in areas where there are adequately sized prey. Ah, you're so beautiful, Kalamba, and you know it. Edward, you're saying she looks absolutely golden, doesn't she? I know that Tristan went into depth on this yesterday, so I won't sort of repeat, but we do believe she lost her litter, and it's very sad as that is. At least we got to view it briefly. We're aware that it happened, so we have more information about her. And it was her first time. So although she's the most fantastic leopardess, and she really is, I love this girl. Sadly, it happens. And for Kalamba here, it will sort of teach her for next time. Teach her for next time. Look at Tandy. Tandy has also suffered a lot of loss from hyenas, the Styx pride. And she'll now sort of be instilled with knowledge for her next litter. So as sad as it is, and it sort of really makes our hearts, so it tugs at our heartstrings, shall we say. Unfortunately, cub mortality rates in leopards is extremely high. But she's a feisty one. She's got the best mix of genes in her. And they normally estimate 4 years old for a leopard to successfully raise an offspring. So, I mean, Kalamba was born in November 2017, so... I think someone's tired. Look at that coat. Anita, yes, they are smaller than jaguars. I can completely understand when looking at an image how people can get confused. The coats are not the same, but they're similar. Out of all the big cats, they're the most similar looking. And jaguars are much sort of sturdier and bulkier, and they have a really large skull. If you look at Kalamba, she's very, very petite, really. I mean, she might look huge on your screens, but she is really petite and slim and feminine. Jaguars are much stockier. They also have a sort of wider gait, broader shoulders, which makes them have a bit of a stockier gait, if you like. And when you compare them, when you put the photos side by side, you can see it. But I do understand if someone sees an image on social media and they get confused. Is that a leopard or a jaguar? I remember I posted a photo on Instagram, good old social media, a long time ago. I think it was of Tingana. It was one of the boys. And I got trolled by this person who was saying, "This is a jaguar. How dare you give false information?" And of course, I mean, it was Tingana. We all know he's not a jaguar. And you don't get jaguars here either. You find them in South America naturally. And Central America, Central and South. I actually was lucky enough to see jaguars in Ecuador when I worked in Ecuador for a while on a research project. And even the term Black Panther, of course, there was a movie, but that aside, Black Panther is actually a name for a melanistic jaguar if you're in Central and South America. But you can also use the term Black Panther in Asia and in Africa. For a black leopard. So it's an interchangeable term depending on where you are. And even in North America, they use it for black jaguars and pumas. It's just a melanistic, either leopard or jaguar. Is she going to climb the tree? Oh, she's very tired this morning. Kalamba, you're going to make me yawn. She's at the base of the tree. Come on, T. I have no idea where Mowati is. I don't think he's close by. We had tracks for a male leopard going west, I think, into Arathusa. They seem to have separated. I have absolutely no idea where Mowati is. We rarely know where he is. I mean, we can guess, but he is known as a ghost leopard for a reason. It's such a wonderful sighting on the dam cam, and it was so magic that we were able to capture it on the dam cam because we really don't get to spend that much time with them sometimes. But I don't think Mowati is anywhere nearby. But I think he is a dominant male here, we know that, but I think he potentially is highly likely that he was the father of her offspring that she's lost. So therefore, they're very much familiar with one another. Leopard up a tree for sunrise. Kalamba is one individual that just enjoys being in trees. You will find her, even when she doesn't have a kill, you'll find her in trees, just relaxing. I think it's really comfortable for her, and I think she just enjoys being high up. Look, she's scanning around. What can she see? If you just go a little bit closer, Impo, you can see our eyes glistening in the sunlight. listening to everything, looking at everything, hyper aware of our surroundings. Kalamba, can you stop being so cute? I can't handle it. I can't handle it. You're giving me cute aggression. I'm sure all of us get cute aggression at some point in time when something is just so cute that you just want to go, and squeeze it. Sorry, Jared, I hear there's a question from Renata, but I didn't quite get that question. Renata, I couldn't possibly answer that. I couldn't possibly even begin to discuss a leopard's memory. It would purely be my thoughts, not any science. They obviously go into estrus again remarkably quickly, and this is a biological sort of instinct in order to get her producing cubs again. It's very speculative to say whether a leopard forgets or not. I personally don't think she would forget. I think that would be really pointless if she forgot. I think it's important that she retains onto that knowledge, that information on... Sorry, she's just been too cute. I'm going to stop looking at her. And I think it's important. It's a learning process out here, especially for mammals. Mammals need to learn. She needs to learn how to ensure that her next litter survives. So I personally don't feel that she would forget. She's aware. She has that knowledge that she's lost offspring. But that's just my personal feelings. I don't think it's possible to say whether she forgets or not. I feel animals don't forget often. And that's how they're able to survive and thrive, add that knowledge to the pool of knowledge in their brain. But again, that is just my personal feelings. That's not necessarily backed up by science, that one. You know, she gets attacked by a lion, which is not going to happen. This is just a hypothetical scenario. If she just forgets that, she's going to lose that awareness of how to be cautious of lions and how to navigate lions and how to make sure she doesn't get in that scenario again. Whereas if she retains on to that information, she'll become better at avoiding lions. And if you watch leopards or lions as cubs, you see it's a constant learning process. How to climb trees, how to run away. What sound should she run away for? What sound should she be listening for? Like a impala's alarm calling. It's a good sound. Who is the enemy? Who's not the enemy? I haven't repositioned the car yet because I'm not entirely sure where she's going to end up. Okay, and Paul, I think I might go forward a little bit because, of course, from here we can't see her face. Oh, she's repositioning. Now where is she gone? Okay, shall I reverse now, Mpo?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to where we were. Oh, you gotta love Princess D. Is that good? Semi-good. I think we're going to have to do a complete reposition here, as in a little bit of a three-point turn. Yes. And that's what we're going to do. You ready, Impo? We're going to completely maneuver. Okay, I'm going to reposition here, and we're going to send you guys across to the leopard whisperer himself to say good morning.
Well, while Lauren's trying to reposition and get a better view of Tlalamba and the kill, we are trying to track down, I think it's Tavangumi at the moment. His tracks seem to have turned into Simambili, so just trying to figure out where exactly he is. It could be Tingana. It's a spot where I know Tingana often uses to rest, and I've seen him walk there many times, so we'll just check how it goes. Anyway, my name's Tristan on camera. I've got Davi, and so we're just kind of bumbling in the area. The last track I have kind of cuts straight in a westerly direction, but I can't find any tracks coming out yet. I think if it is Tavangumi, I wouldn't be surprised. Sorry guys, I know this radio is making a lot of noise, but this is the Western channel and that's what I can hear, and I'm trying to see if they've picked him up or not without actually having to kind of check too deep in, because our signal gets a bit dicey when we go too far to the west. So what I'm just checking, I was going to say with Tavangumi, often what he does is he loops in and walks parallel with Triple M, and then he cuts back over on our side towards the gate. So I'm just going very, very slowly at the moment, just to see what's going on and to figure out if he came back to the road or if he continued west. I couldn't find any tracks going to One-Eyed Pan, which is where I thought he would go. But the last two times that I've followed him there, he actually hasn't gone to the pan. He's just gone straight over the road and into this block where we are right now. And so I'm thinking that maybe, just maybe, he's done the same thing. We maybe missed his track. That road is very, very hard. And so maybe just popped over and then went into this block again and is walking around in here and maybe pops out a little bit further ahead. We'll just check nicely for the tracks. If there's no tracks coming out here, then well, we know whatever cat this is, Tingana or Tavangumi, needs to be on the Simambili side, and then I'll just try and get hold of somebody and figure out if they've seen Tingana the last couple of days. It's very possible to be either, but the track, like I say, looks a little small for Tingana. Tavangumi's foot is not quite as big. But yeah, let's see how we go. In the meantime, though, it sounds like Lauren is repositioned and has got a better view, so let's send you back across to her.
Good luck, Tristy. If anyone can do it, it's you. Such a joy working with Tristan. She's crunching. Somebody's hungry. And if it's Tavangumi, my goodness, Davi and Tristan are going to be happy. Davi has decided it's his new favourite leopard. He's in love. And Tavangumi's caused quite a stir in this area because he's so relaxed and so handsome. The smell is not pleasant, everyone. But let's just listen to Miss Tlalamba eat for a little bit. And it's a bit of a process. And for leopards, the mother will really teach in its lessons, and I've been reading lots of interesting books about animals recently, and teaching is a big part of it. Teaching was thought to be solely human at one point, can you believe it? And now we've even discovered that ants teach. That's incredible. There's actually parameters for teaching. I can read them out in a little while. I don't know them off by heart, sadly. And of course, the leopard teaches. But in terms of eating meat, they will start to nibble on meat first, but it's very little amounts that they start with. So they'll still be in milk, but they will also start to just get the taste of meat really, really slowly. And then, of course, they'll understand the smells of meat. I'm more than sure it will be absolutely delicious to them. And their bodies, their little immune systems... Sorry, my nose is running, everyone. It's really terrible. I think it's just a little bit cold. But yes, our little immune systems will get used to eating meat because, of course, fresh meat's the best, but sometimes leopards will eat very putrid meat, and their immune systems get ready for that. So when they first start to get taught to climb a tree, they're not good at it. There'll be lots of hits and lots of misses. So it's a process. I think they'll probably start to nibble on meat a little bit sooner than they'll start to climb trees. They need to be big enough and strong enough to do that. But I mean, sorry everyone, I don't know what is wrong with my nose this morning. But I mean, a leopard cub will start to accompany mom to kills at around about 11 months old. And that's a kill site. So they have to be on meat long before that. And I've also seen videos of little leopard cubs starting to bounce around trees at around 3 months old. And I think they'll nibble on meat first. Or even if it's just sort of, you know, watching mom eat and getting the smell and taking a tiny little bite when they're extremely young. And it's very interesting. Tristan was showing me videos the other night of how moms teach their cubs. You know, it's fascinating. The cub, if you think of a baby animal, especially ones that are born incredibly altricial, all you know is mom. The only sense you know, the only sight you know, and the only sounds you know are mom. Mom is everything. Mom is your world. So little cubs will follow mom everywhere, especially when called. So the mom will jump up a tree and call the cub to come. So the cub thinks, oh, how am I going to get up here? I don't know, but I have to. Mom is calling. So they'll start to climb. They'll fall. They'll start again. They'll fall. Mom will keep calling, and mom will keep calling until the cub reaches mom in the tree. And then mom jumps out. And the cub thinks, oh my goodness, I've just got up here. I've got to follow mom back down again. And that's the process of learning and teaching. Simone, I completely agree with you. I'm also surprised there's no hyena here. They must be busy somewhere else, because the smell is awful, I can tell you that. And we all know that hyenas follow their noses. I wouldn't be surprised if one appeared this morning. Hyena cannot resist a delicious scent, they just can't. We, of course, are not going anywhere. We're going to thoroughly enjoy our morning with Hungry Princess tea.
Do you dream of an African holiday in unparalleled luxury? Where your days are spent in the company of wildlife and cooling off in your very own plunge pool? Well, this month's prize may be the one for you. Expertly camouflaged into the unspoiled environment of the world-famed Sabi Sand Game Reserve, it's hard not to fall in love with Simbambili. Sign up to be a Wild Earth explorer before the end of May, and you and a friend could be jetting off to this ultimate escape from reality. A luxurious safari and spa getaway wrapped up in one impressive package. Wild Earth Explorers, it's in your nature.
And I find getting out to a local royal park brings me so much closer to nature. I can leave my pain at home. And like watching Wild Earth, I find it's the most amazing way to step out of life's difficulties and just breathe.
The chirping and fluttering of these Java finches at the feeder in our garden helps us start each day joyfully in connection with nature.
So this is our piece of nature that we've been enjoying and has been keeping us sane during lockdown. This morning we have 8 oyster catchers on our beach, which is a real treat.
Hug a tree, Steve, just for you.
I love being a cam up for Wild Earth. The animals coming right up close to you, especially like lions. Sometimes you get nervous, but you have to go with the flow. My favorite animal to film is the elephant because of how big it is. But when it's really up close to you, it's one animal that you would say, I really respect you.
I don't quite know what she's up to here. She's repositioned the gill and she's now looking up at it. Oh, are we going to eat like that? That's interesting, Kalamba. I'm not sure how sturdy that kill is up there. But going back to learning, because leopard cubs are born so ultra-show, it's a mom's job to keep them stashed away at dens, and normally it's 6 weeks they're really stashed inside the den. And then only after 6 weeks you'll start to see them slowly venturing out and following mom. But then mom will still leave them, collect them, come and get them, leave them. And from that moment, really, the leopards got to start developing fast, and that's why they're weaned by 3 months, give or take, and that's when they are introduced to meat, because they've got to be strong. They've got to be ready. They've got to grow up fast. The smaller you are, the weaker you are, and that's why leopard cubs do grow up very quickly. Mareebs went from a tiny fluff ball to an even bigger fluff ball very, very quickly. And of course, climbing trees is safety. The mom has got to start teaching them as soon as they're big enough and strong enough, because that's their key to success. That's their superpower that I always talk about. They've got to get up the trees. It's safety. They can escape a lot of threats and a lot of predators from being in the trees. So everything's got to happen as soon as it can, as soon as they're big enough and they're developed enough, because of course they are born underdeveloped. Kalamba, what are you doing? Yeah, she's not happy with this repositioning, is she? Jim, such great balance. I know I trip over my own 2 feet all the time just walking. But I haven't had some apple juice, but Kalamba puts us all to shame. There's even records of leopards mating in trees. Now that is something else. That's a whole lot of movement, balancing in a tree. But of course, that goes back to what I'm saying. They are arboreal. They do spend a lot of their life in the trees. So learning how to climb a tree has to happen as soon as possible. And they will have a natural instinct on how to climb. This huge scapula, those huge shoulder blades, all those muscles, all that power. They need to develop it as young as they can. She's just being utterly ridiculous this morning, Kalamba. It's quite nice to look up at her in all her glory. See, you're saying perfect picture. I know. Tristan and I both had a moan the other day that we haven't. Oh, goodness, it's even more oh, my goodness. Kalamba, why are you being so perfect? Look at those back legs, Impo. Please zoom into those hind legs. How cute is that? I've forgotten what I was going to say now. Tristan and I were on a good old moan, a good old chin wag the other day about how we're seeing lots of leopards. We're very lucky, but we're not seeing them in the trees. And then, of course, Shasha spoiled us. And now Kalamba's spoiling us. Tandy spoiled us the other day, but it was a little bit too nerve-wracking to thoroughly enjoy that. And you know, I joined in 2018, so Kalamba was still young, and I didn't see her from a cub. But it's still such a joy for me to see her grow up to this stage. She's changed so much, and she's just a superstar. So as I sit here and look up to our princess, we're going to send you across to Pinda at a waterhole.
We have also got some lovely morning light here at Pinda. We have changed our plan quite a bit, which I'll tell you all about in a second, but we've come to this watering hole in our new direction that we've been heading in, and it's all going down here. We've got in the picture at the moment a couple of Egyptian geese, a jacana, African jacana, and a white-breasted cormorant. And cormorants are nesting at a waterhole not far from here, just a little bit further up in the drainage system. But there have also been white-faced whistling ducks that we can hear calling. They're around. There's some purple-crested turquoise we can hear calling. And the cormorants are flying up and down from St. Lucia, which is that little water body that we saw earlier, to the spot where they're nesting. There's a lot of traveling, and we kind of in that flight path of their travel. Can see those ones heading off there back to the nest. A lot of herons around as well, and really just a beautiful morning here. So the reason we decided to come this way was because there's a hyena den that is sometimes used in the south, and I believe I heard on the radio that another ranger went past this morning and said that it was active. So no guarantees that when we get there there's still going to be hyenas there, but we're definitely going to go have a check and try see if we can see anything, because this young hyena would be really cool to see. And I mean, cute little hyena cubs doesn't get much better than that. So we'll sit here for another little while. Got some beautiful hippos around, and then when we move on, we're going to go have a look at the den. It's not too far from where we are at the moment, and probably about a 5-minute drive or so. And yeah, I'm really excited to see that and see if we can find anything that's happening down there. And here the hippos calling. All the hippos on Punda at the moment, well, on Punda, in this part of Punda, seem to be in this area. More cormorants heading back towards that nesting waterhole. So quite similar to this dead tree in the water here, we've got the other watering hole's got a number of dead trees in it, and that's what the cormorants like nesting in. So it's protected from a number of predators by being surrounded by water. There's a grey heron. Odie's doing an excellent job this morning of making sure tracking birds. I'm very impressed. It's not an easy thing to do. But yeah, beautiful morning here. You can see this early morning light still shining on us and shining on everything down the bottom here. It could be very cool just to sit and listen for a little bit. See if you can hear any bird calls that you're familiar with. Can see these incredible landscape where we are here as well. We've got those mountains in the background there that are where we often start our mornings off. That's where we came from this morning, was just at the base of that koppie there. But it's a beautiful spot. Those big open rock faces are occasionally used by leopards and lions. And when we drove past them this morning, I had a good scan to see if we could see anything up there. I thought, the morning's nice and chilly. If I were a big cat, I would love to go lie in the sun as it was just rising and warming up. I think to warm up after a cool night, that would be ideal. But none of the rocks we looked at anyway had any big cats lying on them. Catherine, I completely agree with you. It is magnificent down here. The mix of grassland and thicket and then riverine vegetation is also very special. Lower down in this waterhole catchment, you can see lots of this beautiful green grass, and then as you rise out the side, we encounter those taller trees that are really, really, really beautiful. This watering hole actually, for most of the year, and in fact most of the time I've been here, has been almost completely empty, which is just mind-boggling for me. It's now a pretty serious waterhole, and I think actually one of the more productive ones. The cormorants are here, the hippos are all hanging out here, and it's not far away from that hyena den, so I'm sure they'll come if there are no puddles of water around at some point in their daily activity and have a drink here. We are going to send you across to Rule now, and we're heading straight across to the hyena den now, so I'm hoping to come back to you guys in a little bit with some fluffy little creatures.
All right, so there's been quite a lot of stuff happening this morning around here, and there was reports of an impala carcass right here at the dam. I just want to have a look, see if maybe we will be able to find it. I'm hoping that maybe a hyena or two might even come around the area. But also, there was tracks of the pack that walked through here, so I've got a little bit of that in the head, something that tells me that these dogs could have been the cause of that impala's dying in here, but so far I cannot see the carcass. And there was also tracks of the pride that we've been looking for this morning. They have walked past the dam and they headed north, so I just want to have a look and maybe see if we'll be able to find or see what's happening. Hold on. Maybe if I just stop and listen out for a while. Just in case a hyena or two came by before anybody got here. They could have taken that carcass out, and I was hoping maybe I'd hear them when they're feeding and they're crunching through the bones and all that stuff, but I couldn't hear anything. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn around and head back, see if we'll have a look from the dam wall and find anything on that side. Hold on. I can see the impala carcass. It's on the far end of the dam, on the other side, towards the dam wall. If you look, there we go, right in the center of your screen there. So it's possible that the dogs could have chased this impala. I remember, if you guys remember the other night where we had a couple of wild dogs around the dam and they chased that one impala and it ran into the water. So it's either this impala could have ran in and then drowned in there, maybe even tried to come out after the dogs had left, but couldn't have the strength anymore. So I'm going to try and get closer and then see if we'll get to see if there are any bite wounds on the impala, or what could have really happened, what could have been the secret behind, because there's lion tracks that were here and there's also tracks of the wild dogs from this morning. So it could have really been any predator at that. And so yeah, we'll get there and see what's going on or what could have happened, and then in the meantime we'll send you guys over to Lauren.
We're up again. It's a very busy life being Princess T. We're surveying our landscape. If you think what a height advantage this gives her. Oh. She's peeking out the other side. Alright, here we go. She's not happy, is she? She put it there. She doesn't like the positioning. Going to reposition very shortly, but we are going to send you guys across to Pinda.
Welcome back to Pinda. We've come down to the den here and there's this huge female. Oh, and she's got a kill and now she's taking, oh no, carrying it off, not interested. Oh, there's some more hyenas coming out of the bush that I didn't even see before. I saw the one on the left, there's one on the right here now as well. You can see that young hyena's got a collar on, which is for research purposes. They track them and use the data to better manage the hyena population here. You can see they're quite curious and quite interested in us. Oh. And beautiful, beautiful light. I'm a little bit bleak that female got up and carried that carcass around the back. So they would have maybe caught that in the last night or the night before. And now they've brought it back to the den. Oh, it looks like she might be Oh no, she's going to lie down at the back there, but you saw how massive that female is. Really, really, really big hyena. I'm so excited that we've got here and been able to show this to you. That one closer to us now is putting its head down into the den, one of the dens, and smelling. So this beautiful red soil here, which is actually quite hard and clayey, and these old aardvark burrows. So this area where we are now, there are probably 15, 20 different holes all around us. And these hyena, you can see how smooth that ground is around that entrance to that, just in front of that hyena. This is where they come and lie down, and they've been very active around here in the last little while. The cubs, I'm sure, are down in the burrow at the moment. We haven't seen them yet, but we know they are there. And if the adults are here like this, there's always the possibility that they'll come out again. Especially with a little bit of food around, I'm sure it would be an incredible thing to see some small hyenas playing with a carcass. And that female really did pick that carcass up effortlessly, though. You guys came to us just in time. I'm so happy to see her picking it up and carrying it around. So she's now taken it just behind that little clump of grass, and she's laying down with it there. I did see her pick it up and put it down, and once or twice, but she did look really, really full as well. Almost like a resort, Matthew, yeah. There are lots of rooms to choose from, and it's possible that all these holes are actually connected underground as well, so it's potentially possible for a cub to go down one hole and come out another one. So who knows, one might pop up right next to the vehicle, even if we're very, very, very lucky. It's in a beautiful little thicket here, nice and cool, and this red soil is quite something as well. Beautiful, beautiful. There isn't much space for us to move around and reposition here. There are a lot of quite short stumps, and we're just on the edge of a drainage line here, so we're not going to be able to move around too much. We're just going to have to sit and wait for the hyenas to move, which is, you know what, not the worst thing in the world to be doing. On a Wednesday morning, I'm pretty happy with my choice to be here on Wednesday morning. I'm not sure how everyone else feels. I hope you're all having a great Wednesday as well, with lots of exciting things planned. Like joining us at a hyena den. Oh, good choice, I think. Hyenas are mostly active at night. They're kind of described as nocturnal animals. And although they do move around in daylight hours, they do most of their hunting and patrolling at night when it's cooler. And I suppose they have a bit more of the element of surprise, which is nice. So we can come here during the day like this, and you'll find that a number of the individuals are here because they are spending the day, well, they're relaxing and sleeping for the day. Oh, I can hear some monkeys' alarm calling in the distance. We are definitely not going anywhere. We'll stay here for as long as we can, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to come back to you in a little bit with some youngsters really holding out that they're going to come out and give us a bit of a show. But for now, let's send you across to Tswalu, some more red soil space, and we'll see you a little bit later.
Welcome to Tswalu Kalahari again. What is flying there in the distance is a liner falcon. There seem to be maybe a pair of them. Let's see where it lands. Seems like they've been hunting around here, chasing Cape turtle doves, and that's a bit of the action that we are getting now. Giving BK the run around there, but he's keeping up, doing very well there. Let's see where it lands. It's a very beautiful bird, actually. Very light underparts and a very reddish crown. It looks like BK. It looks like it. And no, I'm sorry. I thought it had landed there, but we'll keep looking around here. It looks like they're chasing the Cape turtle doves around. So we're going to stay here a little bit and we'll send you over for something else.
All right, so there's been a very nice turn of events where at this very same dam, we just heard hyenas making a noise on the other side. We decided to go and investigate and have a look. And when we come back, we found this pack right at the edge of the dam, which means they could have circled back towards here. And the impala carcass is still there. It has not been touched yet. So I'm hoping that these guys might see it and then run down towards the carcass to go and feed. So let's just wait and see what unfolds. What a treat. I think they might have been trying to hunt around the northern ends and the northern sides of the dam, and I'm not sure they have been successful or not. It doesn't really look like they have any blood on their faces, so this could mean that they were not successful in their hunts, because if they were, they would have ripped the carcass apart, therefore getting blood stains all over. So this means that they might have come back for a drink and then might even want to head out again. You see them picking up their attention and putting it that side. I'm hearing very faint contact call of a dog in that direction. It's possible that this could not be the rest of the pack. There could still be some pack members that are missing, because I'm only counting 8. Yeah, Krishna, that little tail at the tip of them goes white, eh? It looks it looks very nice. In fact, if you look at that dog right there, if you towards the knee, it looks like he's wounded. That same dog on your screen looks to be wounded just above the knee here. One thing I do love about dogs is that they are quite playful. And if you look here, it looks like there's a female that's pregnant. You can see that stomach there. So she's still heavily pregnant. We have been hoping that these dogs give birth in our property and then inside our property, which would be fantastic. And if this is the pack, I think it is, the whole complete number of them should be about 18. And if we're only seeing 8 here, it means it's just merely half the pack. Because the last time we saw them a couple of days ago was 18 of them with one heavily pregnant dog. Now look at how all the ears are just pointing in that direction. There is a dog contact calling that side. And I think that's what they also heard. It's going to be interesting. Are they going to respond so that that dog knows where they are? Or are they going to just respond by running towards the direction of the contact call? It sounds like the call is getting closer from when we first heard it, and this is the third time I hear it. So sounds like the call is getting closer and closer. So I believe these dogs coming up might be coming closer and closer this way. It would be interesting just to see them play around because they're very, very playful, especially when they find the other pack members that have been missing for quite some time. They could have spread out through the hunting and lost each other out there. So they get all that excitement and jumping up and down and running around. It's very, very interesting to watch.
We all have a busy schedule and a lifestyle which is confined to stress and tensions. For so many of us, the hustle and bustle of a tedious life has meant we have lost our inner peace. Traveling is an ultimate remedy that lets us unwind and helps us experience peace in the lap of nature. Wild Earth encourages the benefits of travel by giving away an amazing prize every month.
I was totally overwhelmed to receive this fantastic prize of 3 nights at Chitwa Chitwa. Wild Earth has been a lifesaver for us during the pandemic and has kept us sane. Thank you so very much, Wild Earth.
Sign up to be an explorer today, and it could be you jetting off on an all-expenses-paid-for safari experience. Wild Earth Explorers. It's in your nature. The Mara Triangle is a jewel in the Kenyan conservation crown, and thanks to the dedication of the Mara Conservancy, it thrives as one of Earth's greatest national treasures.
We have been experiencing a reduction in the waste nets that we collect on a monthly basis, and this is basically attributed to our intense patrols.
Over the years, this courageous team of anti-poachers has reduced poaching to almost zero.
Mimi naitwa Stephen Olereso. Nimefanya kazi miaka 16 sasa. Kuanzia miaka 2002. Hao wanadamu ni wenye utua sana inaogofya ni wale wenye wanaenda kama ndovu. Wanatumia kama bunduki. Sasa hiyo ndio huwa inakuanga hatari sana kwa sisi.
As a result of the global pandemic and the massive reduction in tourist revenue, the Mara Triangle is facing a financial crisis. They need your help if they are to continue their ability to protect this magical land.
My name is Lauren, and I'm currently working in Djuma Private Game Reserve here in South Africa. I love answering your questions during the live safaris. It's my favorite part. It feels like you're on the vehicle with me, and I'm able to teach you exactly what you want to know. If you want to ask a question on Wild Earth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, you must go to the live safari page and ask your question below the live feed.
Reposition. So it looks like the dogs want to finally turn around and head down that way. So I just want to see if I can reposition the vehicle, and maybe we'll get them to run past. So another male just came in to join on the pack. It could have been the one that was contact calling back there earlier on. So there's 9 of them here that I can see. Looks like that dog has found something in the water that it's pulling out. It could be elephant dung. That's interesting. At first I thought maybe it was a fish. So I'm really hoping that maybe we'll get to see and watch and follow them when they move. And I'm also hoping that they might move down towards that Impala carcass that's at the other side of the dam. Because, you know, normally we hardly see the dogs get to make a kill. Often just get there when they're just feeding and already have ripped off the carcass. So I think we'll wait here, keep watching these dogs and see what unfolds. And then let's send you guys over to Pinda, to the hyena den, and see what's happening out there.
Welcome back to the hyena den. There have been some very interesting developments here. So I think the hyena on the left now is one of the mothers. She's gone into the kind of opening to the den, and when she walked down there, one of the little youngsters just pricked his head out. There was a little bit of a commotion after that, and now that other youngster was kind of bothering her, and now she seems to be quite curious in what we're doing. The youngster came out, went back down, came back out again, but hasn't spent too much time out in the open. And the way she's lying now could actually be that she's busy suckling the cubs and we just can't see them from where we are, which is a little bit of a pity. but they're still moving around, which is very, very cool. There were monkeys alarm calling in the distance a couple minutes ago as well, which got them very interested and excited. And they were looking around and quite curious, I think, as to what was happening with the monkeys. And I'm just holding thumbs now that this little cub comes out. Chris, we don't tend not to name our animals on Phinda, and I'm not sure of the dynamics of this clan too well. We're quite a cool conservation story. Phinda is all historically farmland that's been rehabilitated to its natural beauty. So these hyenas in the south of the reserve aren't the most relaxed hyenas that we've got on the reserve. In the north, it's a bit of a different story. But in the south, and especially, I'm sure if you've watched Wild Earth a bit, you can imagine and you know how thick the bush can be in this part of the reserve. There are these big drainage lines. And because of that, we don't get to see the hyena all that often. Which means for, I suppose, rangers like me, we're not sure of the exact dynamics. I'm not sure if you noticed that one individual that had a collar on, though. That is part of a research project that is happening. I was chatted briefly about it earlier, and they're doing research and kind of mapping the clan's territory, where they go, whether they leave the reserve, whether they come back onto the reserve, the youngsters, how they distribute. And that's really important to get an idea of how we can best protect hyenas. Oh, there's just a little bit of dust now. I wonder if it's the cub that's kicking up dust, or if it's the mother as she wriggles around in that entrance to the den. But every now and again there's just a small little bit of dust that comes out the aardvark burrow. Oh, the light on the side of this hyena is so magic as well. Just catching the outline of its beautiful, beautiful big ears. Sally, it's tough to answer that question just by giving you a number. Hyenas will at points move den sites if they want to. So if they feel threatened, for example, or that they think that their cubs are no longer safe in a den site, they'll move. And they do have a number of alternative den sites in this area that this clan will use. So to say how long they'll spend in this exact one, it's impossible to say. But I think the youngsters they do stay in the den for a very long time, until they're quite large, and probably around 8 months or so was the age that the last one was here until. And that was, must have been in September that I last saw him. September, October. The last time that this clan had a pup in the den. And we started seeing that one quite late as well, so I didn't see it until it was much larger. These little youngsters that are here now are actually quite small. They, I think, are in the range of 4 to 6 weeks. I've only seen one this morning, but I do know that there are 3 here. I came here about a week or 2 ago and saw that the den was active actually for the first time, and that's when I saw all 3. And the one was quite distinctively smaller than the other 2, so very, very precious. Little, still quite dark, almost completely black in color. She does look like she's starting to relax a little bit. Head's down now, eyes are opening and closing, which is a good sign for us. We are actually extremely sensitive with den sites like this because, Sally, like you asked about moving sites, we don't want them to feel threatened by us and like they need to move den sites. So we've got a number of measures that we have in place so that we don't cause them distress, don't cause them to move. And that includes only having one vehicle here at a time, having a limited number of vehicles that can come in a day, and a couple other things like that. And then obviously we sit here very quietly and hope that everyone's relaxed enough to come out and play. We are going to send you off to Lauren for now, but as soon as anything changes here, and especially as soon as if we see a little cub sticking its head out, we'll call you straight back across to us. Okay, it sounds like we'll be sticking around with you guys for a little bit. Maybe this is just what we need. Oh, here comes another female. So this is the largest of the 3 that are here now. Oh, she has got a massive, massive belly. How exquisite is that? Maybe a little bit more relaxed with us now. We've been here for a long time, good 15-20 minutes or so now. We've been quiet. So the direction she's walking in is towards another den. And in that younger den was where I saw the smaller youngster last time I was here. So if she's coming to suckle this youngster, maybe it'll come out for us. No, off she goes again. Oh, chasing these individuals around. So she's the biggest of them here and will be the dominant one. She was also the one that had the kill. And I think what happened now is that one of the younger ones tried to get in and go for a feed. And she's gone to chase. It's the individual with the collar, to chase them away. All right, no cubs yet. We'll send you across to Tristan for now, but we're not going anywhere.
Well, we've had a bit of luck. We came along Gari Main, found tracks for what I think is the Nkuhumas and tracks for buffalo. And I've spotted one lioness who's just disappeared on me, and can hear the buffalo behind me. So it seems like they are wanting to hunt these buffalo, or maybe they have hunted them already and have now given up. I don't know. But certainly she looks like she's disinterested and was walking off. I only see the one for now. There was tracks for more than one. It was tracks for quite a number of them crossing into our side. So I'm hoping that once we kind of follow her, we'll rejoin with the rest of them. She's just on our left-hand side. Just going to try and get through this horrible thicket. Hello, girl. You're looking as though you've eaten already this morning. Just got to looking quite full. So I don't know, like I say, if the rest are here or the rest are still chasing the buffalo. The buffalo are up on the sort of left-hand side of where she is at the moment and where we are. She was listening to them and watching in that direction when we first found her. But like I say, maybe they already tried to have a go and they've missed. Also, if she's on her own and doesn't have the rest with her, then it's going to be tricky for her to be hunting any buffalo. But like I say, it wasn't just one lioness that came in here. There was, it looked like tracks for at least 4 or 5 of them. But we'll see. We'll just have to follow her for a little bit and figure out where she is. I can still hear the buffalo behind me, but she's definitely heading the wrong direction now. She's not heading towards them anymore. Oh, there's a buffalo right there. Looks like she's skirting the outside of these buffalo. I can see buffalo right to my right-hand side. She's heading straight towards them. I don't know if they've separated this herd now and are now trying to hunt fractions of the herd, but she's off on my left. I think she's seen these buffalo now. Let's see what she does. So here the buff are right here next to me, and she's just on my left-hand side. Just want to try and get through this gap here. There she is. Buffalo are close. They're not far at all. I wonder where the rest of the pride is. Maybe they're on the other side of the buff. Because this is not the same group I was hearing. This is a splinter group now. All right, well, we'll watch her hunt the buffalo and send you off to Pinder.
Oh, guys, there we are. How cute is that little cub? So it's come out now. Oh, that one with the collars making a nuisance of himself. But I'm so glad we got to see that little cub's head. Oh, that was so precious. It's such a special little creature. So cute. I absolutely love hyenas. They've got such a bad rep from a couple of productions. The Lion King sold them down a river of sorts. We are going to send you across to Ngala quickly, though.
All right, so the next scene may be a little bit sensitive, guys, to everybody that's watching this. There's a hyena that came in to drag that carcass away from the dam where the dogs were and has moved it to behind the dam wall. So you can see there the hyena has started feeding on the impala carcass, and it looks like the wild dogs are slowly making their way in that direction. So we'll see what's going to happen, what's going to unfold. It's also a numbers game. Like there's 9 wild dogs and there's 1 hyena, and there is an impala carcass there, which means there is food. And I think some of the dogs are on the side of the dam wall, and I think they might even pick up the smell and the scent of that hyena and where it might have dragged the carcass. It'll be so interesting to see what's going to happen and what's going to unfold. So I think let's wait. I'll wait silently just and see what happens in the next minute or two. See that? The hyenas heard the commotion of the wild dogs because when they're playing around in the water, they're busy making the sounds and all that. And the wind is blowing from the dogs to the hyena. So it's possible that he's already caught onto their scent. Plus, he already knew that these wild dogs are here by the dam. That's why he dragged the carcass away from the dam. I wouldn't be surprised if these dogs don't really go there as much as I want them to go there, because the interaction between the hyena and the dog is an interesting thing to watch. And because the wind is blowing strongly and prominently in the opposite direction, in fact, from the dogs to the hyena, if it was the other way around, where it was from the hyena to the dogs, then the dogs would get a whiff or smell of the carcass that's been opened up right now and possibly go in to try and investigate. Right now, the hyena's been smart. Drag the carcass away from the dog and put it downwind and put it in a thicket where it's not easy to see from the different sides. But how impressive, though, that hyena is... Oh, that looked like a kidney. This hyena has dragged the carcass on its own and started feeding. So that carcass had no bite marks or open wounds. So it opened up that place where it's feeding there. Maybe now we'll get to see just how much a hyena can eat. Sally, you're asking if there is any part on that impala that the hyenas would not eat. Yeah, I think so. I think the horns, to start with, they wouldn't be able to eat that. And the skull, they are that close to the horns. Remember, the ability to crunch bones means that they can literally go through a lot on that one impala carcass. But the horns is one thing that I've seen them often leave behind, as well as the spinal cord. But they would eat almost everything that they can, including the skin and the bones, and whatever is left might just be the skull and the horns there. They are really amazing when it comes to feeding on carcasses, because this is the one animal that has the right type of stomach acid to digest almost anything that they eat. Because the main diet is scavenging, and for a hyena to have found a carcass like this on its own and be able to feed on that, you can imagine what the privilege on that hyena is. And they will try and eat as much as they can, because now that he has opened up that carcass with the wind blowing south, every predator that's south, or all the other hyenas and leopards and everything else south of where he is or behind him that smells the carcass might come to try and investigate, especially hyenas. So which means this hyena has to feed quickly, because if other hyenas come, they're going to have to share. It might be hyenas from the same clan, and then they'll just fight over the carcass. he doesn't have the whole impala to himself anymore. But for now, it is just him and the impala, and he's feeding on it.
Do you dream of an African holiday in unparalleled luxury? Where your days are spent in the company of wildlife and cooling off in your very own plunge pool? Well, this month's prize may be the one for you. Expertly camouflaged into the unspoiled environment of the world-famed Sabi Sand Game Reserve, it's hard not to fall in love with Simbambili. Sign up to be a Wild Earth Explorer before the end of May, and you and a friend could be jetting off to this ultimate escape from reality. A luxurious safari and spa getaway wrapped up in one impressive package. Wild Earth Explorers, it's in your nature. The Endangered Wildlife Trust fights at the forefront of conservation, across the vast Karoo and sweeping grasslands, in remote pockets of forest, along road networks, across African skies, and in communities to conserve our wildlife and wild spaces. Help us to protect forever, together. Donate now at ewt.org.za.
It's a huge privilege to be in these incredible places with these amazing animals. I love filming lions. When they do get up and do something, it's always spectacular. When they are playing, are incredibly fun to watch, especially sub-adults and cubs. I love being in the bush and working in these incredible places with these amazing animals. We want to bring it to you so that you can almost feel like you're right there and be able to experience it and enjoy it the way we are.
Guys, have a look at what we've got. This is better than my birthday. Look at that. This is the first time that I ever see cubs this small. This is so special. This has officially just become my best sighting of all times.
Tune into Wild Earth every single day. It's in your nature.
Oh, there's a little one now. So he's just coming out and socializing. He's very nervous of the other hyenas. So the one closest to us is the mother that's been suckling this little youngster. And the one with the collar is a sub-adult, I think. Maybe one of the younger males in this clan. And this mom is actually trying to get the little cub to socialize with the sub-adult. She picked it up and dragged it out the hole a little while ago. Oh, sweet. And this thing has been running up and down the side ever since. But whenever the collared individual comes a little bit closer, it's been darting back into the hole. Oh, look at that. My goodness. Extremely special moments here. Oh, look at that. Oh, down and up again. He's kicking up all this red dust as well. Oh, look at the leg raised. Krishna, this is extremely cute. I'm so glad you guys are getting to see this as well. And this has been the longest period we've seen this little guy fawn this morning. I think the game is kind of starting to turn on. And we've seen him running up and down and up and down. Very, very cool moments here. Really, really magical, actually. We're getting this insight into the, on Phinda, normally quite secretive lives of these hyenas. And so special to see this little youngster getting to know one of the other clan members as well. Look at them. Oh, he's shaking his head. Oh! Back down into the den. Up. Oh, this is too magical, too precious for words. Ken, these are old aardvark burrows. So the aardvark dug them a long time ago, looking for tubes and roots and things to feed on. And the hyena have kind of just taken them over. They don't dig them. And you'll actually find that the adults can't fit into the den. So they lie outside the front of the den like they are doing now. And the cubs will come out and feed and play around. And what that means is that other larger predators also can't get into the den. And which is perfect, because if a lion or something else were to catch one of these cubs, it would definitely kill it. But if the cubs don't stray too far from the den and anything comes through, they can just duck and dive and be straight back in the den before they get caught, which is how these dens work. There's a little bit of growling happening. Oh, rolling down into the hole. We're going to send you back to Tristan and the lions that he's got, but we'll be staying around here and seeing if any of the other cubs come out and if anything changes.
Well, we found another 3 lionesses in the block, with this 4th one. She's disappearing now up, and they're splintering to now start going after these buffalo. The buffalo let out a few little bellows, and the whole lot of them got up and started to move into different directions. The one lioness I can see is far ahead of us already, going up towards the buffalo, and these 3 are now starting to kind of flank to the left. So we'll see what happens. I think they're completely outgunned, if I'm honest. It's a big herd of buffalo that we've got here. It's not a small herd at all, just judging by the audio that I can hear. It seems it's quite spread. And so, 4 lionesses against a lot of buffalo is going to be a tricky prospect. Now, you might not think that the buffalo are close, but they're right here. They're just on the other side of these bushes from where these lions are looking. They're not far at all. It's just we can't see them. I can hear them and I can see how the lions are reacting, that the buffalo are not far, but at this stage we can't see them nicely. You can kind of just see every now and then the vehicle moving, or kind of the buffalo moving, or the lioness moving. So just is kind of what's happening. There's a buffalo right here on my left-hand side. So they're close. I reckon at the moment we probably, some buffalo are, if I look at these ones on the left here, they probably are less than, from here you might just see some buffalo moving through the thickets, but the ones closest are maybe 50 meters from these guys, so it's not very far at all. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do and whether or not they actually try and chase them. There's one lioness in particular that is very, very interested. She's the one that kind of trying to do everything. These three at the back here don't seem like they're as interested in what's going on. They seem like they're just sitting and watching. I suspect actually that they've already had an interaction. You can see the buffalo just coming out on the left-hand side here now, very close to us. I think they've already had interactions and chased each other around. Just judging by the behavior of the lions, they're listening, but they're not vested in it. And that's often when there's been a few interactions with the buffalo, then the lions are like this, where they're not as keen to start kind of getting in amongst the herd. And the herd itself looks quite splintered at this stage. It doesn't look like it's kind of, that there's nothing has taken place. It seems like two groups have been split and are trying to come back together, because there's lots of vocalizing from the buffalo, and they're kind of, like I say, heading in two slightly different directions. Roger, they are. But like I say, in this case, I think, unfortunately, these lions are a little outgunned. There's just too many buffalo, I think, for just the 4 lionesses. There might be more lions in here, I don't know. From the tracks, though, I don't think it's many more than what we see here. It looked like 4 or 5 individuals that came in, and we've got 4 already. I didn't look at the tracks for long. I just saw them crossing, and I saw buffalo tracks, and was pretty sure I knew what was going to be taking place, and tried to just loop around as quick as possible to get to where we could try and find them. We just, I think, got lucky in many respects that we spotted a lioness in the block, and then the buffalo kind of right there. So, but like I said, there could be more. I am expecting it to be the Nkuhuma Pride. I could also be wrong on that. I know the Torchwoods were seen not far the other day, so they could be around. It's definitely not the Talamati Pride, so the Nkuhumas is my best my educated guess at this stage. I just haven't seen enough of them to actually know who it is. We're just seeing backs of heads mostly, as I'm trying not to get between them and the buffalo at this stage. So this buff has an injury. It does, David. You see that? It's not a bad injury, but it is, still a little bit of an injury. He'll be all right, though. That's more than capable of fighting off lions, that individual. All right, well, we'll sit here and just watch as it's kind of still a Mexican standoff at this stage. In the meantime, though, let's send you across to Rule with his hyena eating.
Well, fortunately for the hyena, it looks like the pack has decided to move in an easterly direction from where we are. So this hyena is able to feed on the carcass in peace. I don't think the dogs could have gone that far. They didn't look like they were running. Rather, maybe trying to find a nice little spot where they can rest. Maybe to see the hunt sometime this afternoon. And here we just have this hyena that's finishing off that impala carcass. There's a butterlier that just flew past us, and it had something in its talons. I think it might have caught a bird somewhere around the dam. Yeah. See, we got these 2 butterlier, the eagles up there. I'm not sure if you guys can see that clearly. It's quite far, but it looks like they're fighting, and I think it could be over that little one bird that had the kill on its claws. There's just so much happening at this one dam at the same time. And a butterlier is one of the birds with a great eyesight, and from up there, I got no doubt they can see what's happening down there. So we're going to stay here for the next while and watch to see if there'll be any changes. So we'll send you guys over to Tristan.
As you can see, our lions are creeping up on these buffalo now. They're getting much closer to where they are. There was the one lioness all of a sudden took interest in something. I don't know whether it's a little baby buffalo that she's seen or an injured individual, but she went from being kind of watching and fairly relaxed to very alert and very keen. And they are close now. I mean, it's not even, I reckon, between the closest buffalo to this lead lioness, it must be 20 meters, 25 meters from where the buff are. So let's see what happens. I suspect that we're going to see them try and then they're going to get chased away. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't think we're going to see a kill, but you never know. Sometimes they get lucky and, you know, a buffalo makes a mistake and a little calf gets separated, or an injured one is around and just, you know, can't help itself and kind of gets hurt. It could be that takes place. I'm not sure. Let's see how it goes. I think that the fact that the buffalo are so splintered is kind of playing into the lion's hands in many ways. But what you'll see is as soon as this buffalo, if they do latch onto one and it starts to bellow, the rest of them will come flying in from all directions to come and help that member of the herd. It's one of the cool things about buffaloes. Unlike most other antelopes, when a member is grabbed and everyone runs, these guys come in at full tilt and just chase and scatter the predator away. And the only time you really see lions very successful in big groups like this is when big male lions are part of the process, and anything that comes running at them, they just tackle and take down. So when you had the Birminghams, for example, and there were 5 of them, you know, buffalo that tried their luck often got themselves into all kinds of trouble by trying to charge in at 5 male lions, and the 5 males would just grab those buffalo. And when that starts happening, then the herd starts to panic because its offense becomes kind of stunted, and then it's much easier for the lions. But if they organized and they have a go and the lions, you know, unfortunately get onto one and the buffalo kind of get together, then you find very quickly the lions get dispatched and kind of sent packing a lot of the time. She's going straight towards these ones. Unfortunately, it's going to be bushy and thick and difficult to see from the angle that we're at. I can try and reposition slightly just to try and give David at least something to work with. I don't want to obviously go too close, just because I don't want to disturb the buffalo or her. The buffalo seem very chilled with us, so that's a good thing. But we don't want to kind of try and get into close to them and push the buffalo away from where the lions are, or give the lions an unfair advantage. So I just try and kind of sneak in here somewhere where I can actually see what's going on. So the buffalo with the wound is to my left here. I can't see where that lioness went, but the rest of the buffalo are just here in front. So there's buffalo there, there's buffalo to the left. I can hear more buffalo to the right. And the fourth lioness is to our right. The last time I saw her, she could have moved by now, though. Be interesting to see with these buffalo on our left what happens with them. That's 2 bulls now that have been separated out from the rest of the group, and I'm wondering if these lions might try their luck on them. Bringing down a bull, though, is no joke. That takes a lot more power than a little calf or cow. So 50 most definitely. Like I say, 4 lionesses on a herd of buffalo is very, very, very difficult. It's not impossible, but very difficult. And like I say, there might be more in here. There might be more lions scattered around. When they're hunting buffalo like this, sometimes they do end up being kind of scattered a little bit. So it's possible that that's the case, but I would be surprised if it were. See, these 2 are up now next to us as well. Let's see where they go. These look like 2 much younger individuals than the ones that are kind of leading these hunts and trying to move around. Okay, they're also coming through. ask them now. Let's just go forward here, David, and just see. Sonia, they used to be. You know, the Nkuhumas were a very successful pride when they were hunting, but there was two reasons for that when they were very successful. The first reason was that it was the drought, and so buffalo were in no way, shape or form as physically fit as they are now. The second reason is that these lions are now turning and going away. The second reason is that they had 4 Birmingham males at that point with them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 lions accounted for. You'll see the one's got a bit of a limp at the moment. So they look like they're going the wrong way now. Maybe they've decided they want to go hunt a different group, I don't know, or they've just given up a little bit. I think there's something else that's been found, maybe sounds like something of interest, which maybe cheetah. The radio just went all over the place. Anyway, I think they've lost a little bit of interest now. I don't think they are going to go after these buffalo that I saw, which is a surprise because there's one that's separated now by itself. There's just one bull that I saw now on its own. I would have thought maybe they would have had a go at that bull, but it seems like they're not going to be doing that today. I think they are lacking inspiration at this stage. And like I say, who knows how long this has been going on for. They could have been chasing these buffalo around 5 times already. But yeah, it doesn't look like they are too interested for now.
If you love to watch Wild Earth, then we are inviting you to join our Explorers program. For a monthly subscription, you will have the opportunity to win fantastic Wild Earth expeditions. Join our guides for a chat around the fire, receive weekly highlights from our shows, and much more. All the money will go to keeping these live safaris on air, which in turn allows us to escape into nature every single day. For many years, Wild Earth has taken viewers from around the world to the Mara Triangle, a place of majestic beauty and abundant wildlife. But it wasn't always like this. Before 2001, it was infested with poachers. Illegal harvesting and hunting was rife. Now the situation couldn't be more different. The hard work and dedication of the Mara Conservancy has revolutionized this magical land. But now, the loss of revenue from tourism has created a grave crisis. The Mara Conservancy needs help if they are to continue protecting the reserve and supporting the local communities whose livelihood depend on its survival.
My name is Steve, and one of my favorite things at Wild Earth is getting questions from you. The type of questions that I really like are those ones that really help us to unpack and understand and really integrate the ecological knowledge and fully appreciate the importance that animals such as these Cape buffalo bring to the ecosystem. If you want to ask a question on Wild Earth, you're going to have to register on the website. But once registered, just head on over to the live safari page and enter your question under the live feed.
Look at this, the little one is up and about. Certainly hasn't had enough milk at this age. No amount of milk is enough. Oh, Corky. Too sweet. Oh, look at this. That is stunning.
Tune into Wild Earth every single day. It's in your nature.
This mother has just treated us to the most incredible views. Oh, what a playful, cute little bundle of joy. She lay down with her belly facing towards us, and for the last 5 minutes or so, the cub's been suckling. We could actually hear it suckling at one point. Look how adventurous it's getting now, eh? All over the show. No, we've really been spoilt with a beautiful morning here. Oh, off it goes. I got up and moved the carcass away from where it had been sitting just at the back there where the mother is now. And I'm not sure how much longer, or how far rather I should say, she moved it off. I just saw her walking to the left into the thicket and disappearing. So I don't know if that other female's maybe keen on feeding. I think they are all waiting for that larger female to finish though, because she's definitely the largest and will therefore be the most dominant. But how cute is this little cub? We've been very patiently waiting for it to come out. And we've now the rewards. I mean, this thing really is tiny and very, very cute. When hyena are young, they are very dark, so this one is almost completely black still. And they stay quite dark for quite a while. Even the larger around the insides are still quite dark in color. I'm not sure what this female, she got a little bit of a fright there and jumped. All I saw was a couple birds come fluttering down. I'm not sure if they would have given her a fright. Maybe there's another hyena in the thicket here somewhere. She does look a little bit on edge now. Like something could be approaching. Beach bunny, yeah, the older female, the larger one. Oh, there she goes off into the thicket. That's how it goes, eh? That's how it goes. The larger female is a little bit older and a little bit more scruffy. Hyenas that are older often have a little bit less hair. They're a little bit more bulky and not unhealthy looking, but less pretty, I suppose is a good word. And these other two, which are slightly younger, are in much better pretty condition. They look delightful. I think I have a feeling that this is going to be the end of our hyena action for the morning. The cubs won't come out while the mothers and the adults are away, so now that the adults have moved off, there's quite a deep, thick drainage line to our left where it's quite sunny around the den site, so they might be moving down there into the shade to go sleep for the rest of the day down there. We are going to send you across to Tristan now, though. And oh, someone's coming back. And we'll hang out here for another 5 minutes or so and see if anything changes.
Well, that's the hunt over, I'm afraid. I think it was going long before we found them, and they've lost complete interest now. They're pretty much just lying up. And most of them have found shade. It's just this lioness that is out in the open. And like I say, just for 4 lionesses to take on a big herd of buffalo is very difficult. The chances are slim when that happens. So, didn't really expect too much if I'm honest. If there had been, 15 of them, it's a very, very different story. And if, voca males are with them, and it's, a whole kind of lot of males as well as the females, it's a lot easier for these lions. But when there's just 4 lionesses and one carrying a little injury, the odds are heavily stacked against them being successful. But you never know. Like I say, you never can tell what can happen. Maybe a female could have got split, or a little calf, and it's possible that they could have killed them, but I doubt that there's going to be any more action for us this morning. But just getting back to those Nkuhumas and their ability to hunt buffalo, like I was saying with the drought and the Birminghams, they had those 2 factors which helped them a lot in their ability to take down a lot of buffalo. And then subsequent to that, the drought, the numbers of buffalo decreased so heavily, and we saw so few buffalo in this area that their hunting had to adapt and change quite quickly. They went from obviously hunting buffalo almost daily. They then started to have to hunt smaller antelope like kudu and waterbuck and those kinds of things. And as that then started to, kind of settle in, the sub-adults and the cubs from back in 2016, they started to learn to hunt those animals a lot more and become a lot more proficient at it. And then we just had a period of very little buffalo. So maybe their technique has just kind of become a bit rusty, if that's the right word for it. And as time goes on, and they, start to see buffalo more and more again, and the pride keeps going, and as the winter sets in and the condition of the buffalo deteriorates, so the technique will then get honed, and they'll probably start being a lot more efficient at it. Same as the Talamati pride, but they really do require the males to help out a lot of the time in these big herds. And the dark mane the other day with the Talamatis was right at the back. He was not offering much assistance at all, and the 2 sort of other evokers, Blondie and Mohawk, well, they seem like they are busy at the moment. They seem like they're kind of south and have this little beef with the Birmingham boys in the south, and are just kind of not with the pride all the time. But if they together and the whole pride is together, then I think they have a very real chance of becoming efficient buffalo hunters once again. It's just going to take a bit of time to get that right. But I mean, it's so long since I've seen the Nkuhuma pride that it's I don't even know now how the composition is working. Are they split? Are they hanging out together? I know that there's new cubs which will change the dynamic. So it's just, time to kind of take stock of them is always tricky, because they just spend so little time with us. And it always seems to be fragmented groups rather than whole prides together. Are you going to come lie down? I think this is them for the day. Shade and down. And that is the typical lion pose when they are done for the morning. There is no ways that they are hunting buffalo now. They were in amongst the buffalo, and they just let those buffalo move off. I think they realized very quickly themselves that these buffalo are way, way, way too many for them to tangle. But I love the fact that she's already popped her leg up and is in the typical lion pose. This is how they look a lot of the time. I'm going to just reposition so the one with her head up, we can actually look at her and see her. Sorry, David, that was my fault. I pushed the clutch a little bit too early. There's still one that's at least got head up at the moment. There we go. Let's see if she keeps her head up or if she also flops back down. I expect most of them are going to start flopping down pretty quickly now. 3 of them are completely flat. She's the last woman standing at this stage. I will say this though, they are beautiful, beautiful lions. They're in immaculate condition. Their coats are looking good. Their body structures are looking good. One's got a little bit of a limp and she's got a bit of atrophy on that right leg. It's not bad at all, and she puts weight on it once she starts moving, but the rest of them are just looking as pretty and as perfect as you could ask for a group of lions. Really, really pretty girls. So far I think I've seen amber eyes and ridge nose, this being ridge nose here, and the other two I didn't get a good look at, so I'm not 100% sure. I've got to just double check here without these monitors and without looking through binos. Sometimes it can be a little tricky. I actually also didn't take notice of who actually was the one limping. Alright, well, we're going to stay with these guys for a little bit longer. I think they're not going to get up to too much more, so we might carry on, but in the meantime, let's send you across to and beyond Ngala.
Well, if you look up that tree there is a female leopard. And quite surprisingly, she's got a carcass up the tree somewhere. It's just quite high. From this angle is the one angle where we can at least get a view of the leopard. So she is sitting away from the carcass. Maybe she might move on a bit later on in a while. When we got here, she tried to carry it, and I think half of the stomach contents dropped. And she carried it up, and then she climbed down to, I think, finish feeding on that. And a few vultures were circling around the tree, and then she climbed back up just to keep an eye or a close eye on that. And I believe that is the Nyala female. I must say I have not seen her in a while. Found her tracks and tracked her down, but haven't been lucky enough to see her. This is quite a treat for me to be able to see this leopard. It's nice every now and again she turns her head just to look this way. There's quite a strong, and I'm sure you can see on the tree there's a very strong wind this morning. It just picked up about maybe half an hour ago. And up there it's got a nice, very, very cool breeze. I can imagine where she is sitting. So it's actually a nice little spot to be up. And from up there she can get to see at least a little bit further around her, in case if there is other leopards coming or hyenas moving to the area. And I think she's picked the tree because she knows that most other predators beside a leopard won't be able to climb up, but where she's placed it, I think vultures are able to see it from up there. So when the more and the more vultures keep circling around the tree, that might attract unwanted attention of maybe other leopards around the area to just come and investigate and see what's going on. Because we believe she's got cubs or a cub somewhere, and she might have to go back either to get the cub or just to go back to check on the cub if anything hasn't walked past her den site. So she's got a lot of responsibilities at this stage and point in time, but hopefully everything works out for her. Gundu, I agree with you. I think this morning there's been a lot of action and activity happening around the property. I love seeing a leopard, and I love seeing a leopard up the tree even more. It's just unbelievable that just to see a leopard up a tree on its own. You know, so I want to spend some time here with this female, see what happens, see if she'll get up to go and feed. So we'll send you guys to Pinda in the meantime.
We have just gone a little bit further down the road to a little viewpoint, and we managed to spot this elephant bull slowly walking along the edge of a river. This is the main river that runs through Punda, the Munyawana River. And that elephant looks like he's just slowly walking and feeding. He's coming in our direction. And you can see those mountains in the background there, which mark our western border. Behind them, or on top of them I should say. Oh, just disappeared into the thicket now. It is possible that he'll come out a little bit, like 5 or 10 minutes or so, so we'll stick around here and see. But you can see how beautiful the floodplain of this river system is. There are all sorts of animals down here. I've seen wildebeest, zebra, walk dogs, and the river system where we are now is just above where it joins the Mzanene, which then flows into St. Lucia. So we really are in a beautiful... Oh, the wildebeest are chasing each other around there, being wild beasts. Yeah, and this vantage point that we've got from the top here really is magnificent. It's one of my favorite spots to come and scan from. I had a incident here a month or two ago with a crocodile. We were down on the road at the bottom there, close to where those wildebeest are, and it's obviously quite close to the water, and there was a carcass that we could smell. So I thought, let me go have a look and see if I can see it and see what it is. And crocodile was lying in the grass next to it. Needless to say, I got quite a big fright. Look at those wildebeest going there. They really are just very quick and just bounding along. Oh, there's a little youngster catching up. Can see there looks like lots of flowers down on the side of the river there as well. Could be the hibiscus that we get here, but tough to tell from this distance. A really, really magnificent view though, and I'm sure you can all tell why it's one of my favorites. The bird life down on the river here can be spectacular as well. Oh, elephant's coming back out now. Odie's panned from far right to far left now, and I've just this expanse of open area all in front of us here. These views are... Oh, looks like he's picking maybe... Ooh, I'm going to have to use my binoculars for this one. Some of the reeds, or more reedy type grass. It grows a lot, well, is growing along the edge of the water, but you can imagine with so much water there now, that grass is as green and delicious as it's ever going to be. So for that Ellie, it's a good place to be feeding. I'm always blown away by how pretty it is from up here now. If you sit here for long enough, I think you can rack up quite a tally of birds as well. One had a spotting scope, I think. You could spend all day here. Keep hoping this elephant's going to get into the water, but I don't think he will. He looks quite contented on the bank there, feeding a little bit. You might find in a little while it is just starting to get warm. I'm actually just shuffling to take my jacket off as we sit here in the sun. That he might, in the next half an hour or so, have a little bit of either a mud bath or water, throw some water over himself. But he's now gone back into the thicket. When the herds of elephants come south, they often cross this floodplain area over here. And it's honestly one of the most magnificent things one can see in an afternoon. Seeing 50 or 100 elephants crossing this expanse of grassland is something quite spectacular, I must be honest. We've got some zebra down there now. What looks like some some cattle egrets around them. So for the cattle egrets, I can actually see a couple following them behind them. Pretty sure that's what they are. It's a really good place to be. There's all these plains game, the wildebeest and the zebra. You can imagine when those wildebeest were running through the grass like that, how many insects they were disturbing and kicking up. And those cattle egrets will be flying behind them and catching all the different insects that are disturbed by the larger herbivores when they move through the grassland. Seen some glossy starlings around too this morning. There have been a couple fluttering around us here. And what one can actually often do from this vantage point up here is spot rhino. We were just exclaiming a little while ago at how long it's been since we've seen rhino down here. But they are around, and because we've got this height advantage, really easy to spot sometimes. We're going to send you across to another watering hole now at Tswalu. We'll stay up here for a little while, I think. Might even try go down to the bottom and see if it looks any different from down below.
We've got some springbok here. Looks like they're foraging, heading towards a watering hole. We're not too far from a watering hole, so probably aiming to be there around the heat of the day. I think that's where they probably aiming to get slowly feeding towards there. I mean, they don't really need as much to drink. Let's see what they're up to. Still foraging around. I'm only seeing two, which is a little bit weird. So let's scan around. While we do that, we'll send you over to another area.
gorgeous, and he's being adorable. He's after the impala to the right of us, but they're suspicious. They're not alarm calling, but I don't know whether the wind is blowing his scent or they've seen movement. So he's parked his bottom in this tiny little patch of shade, and he keeps letting a few minutes pass, and then he keeps sitting up, putting his ears completely flat and checking on the impala. It's absolutely adorable. I love this boy. Love, love, love him. And we're at Kayamanzi on Bufosuk. Quick update on Kalamba. She came down the tree, brought her kill down with her, moved to another tree, nestled in the thicket and started eating, and the visual was really, really bad. So we let Kalamba get on with breakfast. And we've had quite the journey coming up to get this boy. Come on, Klangula. He was stalking, he had his shoulder blades up. But he knows the impala are looking at him. It's a bachelor herd, and there's some zebra here too. It's got quite a distance to cover. So he knows if he just goes flat and take a rest, they'll forget. Or not necessarily forget, that's probably the right word. They'll just assume the threat has passed. You're too sweet. Let's keep a watchful eye. He's hungry, he wants them. But it's just a case of how can you get them? He's got distance to cover. How can he make it so that he gets closer to them without being seen? I mean, zebra would be wonderful, but I'm pretty sure it's the impala he's got his eyes on. A name for a while when I first arrived. I believe it is very windy where I am. This is probably the best I can do to block the wind. Oh. Put your ear down, boy. Show them how cute you are when your ears go flat. The impala are going bananas here. I think the boys are just chasing one another, and that's what he's watching. For a hunt before the end of drive. My goodness, we have about 10 minutes, 15 minutes to go. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm definitely hoping for one. That means we could have him this afternoon, and Davy is desperate to see this boy. Poor Davy. Desperate. So it'd be so nice to have him for the afternoon, but there's a lot of distance to cover. He's got to stay hidden somehow. It's very open where we are right now, so it's a big challenge. He's just magnificent. I didn't think I would love a male so much, Tingana and Hukamuri really filled up all those gaps in my heart, and I didn't think I could become so attached to another dominant male, and yet, lo and behold, Klangula walks into your heart. He's so relaxed as well. He's very relaxed. And this is what leopards do. Stay still, watch, listen, anticipate, predict, get ready to ambush. It's not easy. And the figure for the Kruger, I mean, it's an old statistic, but it hasn't been updated. It's 16% of hunts result in success. 16. That's a very low amount. Beautiful, and although he's parked in the shade there, he blends in so well to this background. He's quite a pale leopard. Kalamba's quite a... Actually, Hukumuri was the best example. Oh, we'll try and bring his name up so we never forget him, but he was quite an orangey leopard, if that makes sense. Whenever you took a photo of Hukumuri, you had to sort of dull down the saturation because he's so orange. He was really rich in colour, but Angola here is very pale, if that makes sense. I'm sure some of you understand what I'm trying to say. I think one day I predict this boy's going to start pushing a little bit further south and be seen on Juma. I'd love to see him on Juma. Remember, we've got Tabangumi now, but he's not territorial. Nomadic, but not territorial. Sorry about the wind, everyone. There's really not much I can do. He's gonna go behind the car. Oh, he's still limping. Okay, Impo's gonna do a 360. Oh, Impo is right behind the car. I don't know if you're gonna be able to get on from here. Can we try? Typical, he decides to sit right behind the car. No, there you go. That's our antenna, everyone. That is how we broadcast. And this boy has decided to position himself right there. Isn't that just wonderful? Maybe what we can do is, this is the prey he's looking at, the zebra. If you just look over to the right, sorry, he's looking at impala. Incredible. He's gone so flat. Look how low he's keeping his body to the ground. Wow. He's trying so hard not to be seen. That's why I'm not turning on the engine. Wow. Camouflage is his only power. He cannot be seen. He's positioned himself in a good spot. Well done, boy. He's moving. He's going to the next piece of vegetation. You see that? I really hope he's successful. Hear Impala's alarm calling, but to be honest, it's really, really windy. They possibly have. But I don't think they've spotted him. I think they just know that something's up. I think they can smell him. Okay, I'm trying to hide my hat from the wind. I hope that's better. I really do apologize about the wind. I'm trying. That should be a little bit better. He's got a long way to go before he gets close to the impala, but this is a stalking leopard. Twitchy tail, twitcheroo. Is that a little bit better, Jared? Okay, I'm bent over double here, so my head on the passenger seat trying to avoid the wind. Look at those shoulder blades. I really, really hope this boy's successful. We get good signal here, and it would be so wonderful to see him on a kill. Get Tristan and Darby up so Darby can finally meet this boy.
Do you dream of an African holiday in unparalleled luxury? Where your days are spent in the company of wildlife and cooling off in your very own plunge pool? Well, this month's prize may be the one for you. Expertly camouflaged into the unspoiled environment of the world-famed Sabi Sand Game Reserve, it's hard not to fall in love with Simbambili. Sign up to be a Wild Earth explorer before the end of May, and you and a friend could be jetting off to this ultimate escape from reality. A luxurious safari and spa getaway wrapped up in one impressive package. Wild Earth explorers, it's in your nature.
The reason why we see that wildebeest by himself is because he's a male, or a bull, as we typically would call him. And what he does is that he marks and defends an area. Essentially, he is looking for the ultimate piece of land or prime property. Needs to have good grazing, needs to have a water source close by. And not too far away from here, there's a sickle bush thicket that would provide just enough shelter from the wind and the rain.
Hi everyone, my name's Daniel Fisher and I'm going to be your guide this afternoon. I'm looking really forward to taking you through and showing you all the beautiful places here at and beyond Ngala. If you have any questions, please register on our website. Once registered, go to the live page feed and post your questions underneath the live feed. Join me on my next safari through and beyond Ngala on Wild Earth. Send me live questions through the Wild Earth website and I'll answer them live from the African bush.
The croc is still holding another one there. It's holding from the hindquarters. I would really want. The wildebeest cross, is it trying? The croc is holding the tail. It's holding tight. Oh no. Goodness me. Lucky, lucky wildebeest. You have another day to live.
Expect the unexpected here on Wild Earth daily.
He's moving again. Look at that. Incredible. He's keeping his body so low. Would you look at that? He's a big boy. He's taking the opposite direction from the impala. I think he's trying a sneak tactic to go round. think he's still behind this vegetation impole. Many of you are crossing their fingers. He's successful. Me too. I don't think we'll capture anything this morning because, of course, we're nearing the end of the safari. But I'm really hoping this afternoon we... Oh, there he goes. There he goes. We're not going to follow, I'm afraid. It's going to get tricky into this drainage line. But you know what he's doing? He's taking a wide berth, a loop. He's looping round to try and get in better position for the impala. That's remarkable. We can actually show you, I think we'll lose vision of him, what's in front of us. So we've got the zebra, beautiful zebra, and I'm not sure where all the impala have disappeared to. But they're there somewhere, and that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to loop around. If he goes into the drainage line, there's more cover. It's denser, it's thicker, and that way he can stalk the impala. He's not stalking the zebra, it just happens to be that they're also here, and we've got a nice view of them. Oh, what a drive from Kalamba, the lions, the wild dogs, the hyenas, and of course, Klingula, the most handsome boy in town. We are very, very far away from camp, but it was absolutely worth coming up here, and hopefully either Tristan or I will be up here searching for him this afternoon. So, of course, it's come to that time, unfortunately, everyone, but we'll always keep you updated, as we always do. And a big thank you to everyone for jumping on board. You are what make this show, after all. Thank you for all the comments, all the questions, and please do join us this afternoon. You literally never know what's going to happen. That's the beauty of a live safari. So, until then, I wish you all to have a great day. Bye for now.